Sunday night, 11:18 p.m., August 24. Let me reiterate Walmart. I want to work there for $1 billion a week. I don't want to work, period. But since I'm so poor, I have to work. I don't have to work, but I don't want to be less than a multi-billionaire either. So I want that money. Bentonville, Olathe, Hawaii, Wall Street. I'm all over it, like stink on shit. Of course, I was turned to shit from says that trespassing charge at Merrill Lynch on the plaza like a year or two after my master's, where the guy said my degrees don't matter. And then they threw me in jail for trespassing and started a war that'll never end. And I guess the real shit started when I was 16 with all this shit about just because you own a place doesn't mean you get a paycheck and the owner gets 100% legal respect. You only own the place for your name's Merrill or whatever. Just on and on with all this. Okay, I mean, those things, well, the first two things are acceptable. Owning the place does not entitle you to a paycheck. And the owner gets 100% legal respect. They don't have to do anything they don't want to. But I don't want them to get away with disrespecting me, so I do this shit. And I am an owner, so they have to fucking be fucked up. And the way the industry operates around here, you have to work at one of those companies to try to get a license. And since I had pre existing issues with them starting at 16, owning the place, working, family, trust there, I have to do this shit until I get what I'm supposed to have, which is billions and billions of dollars. Maximizing stock owner value. They still teach that in school. It really is a bunch of shit in reality, isn't it? And the company to play that idea. Merrill Lynch doesn't maximize stock owner value. Merrill Lynch, it's every individual for themselves, every office out for themselves. I don't know. Well, it seems to be everywhere. Every individual out for themselves, and every office, store, location, district, whatever, out for themselves. Yeah. So I'm out for myself, and I have to get $1 billion a week to maximize stock owner value of this company right here. So it's all experience since I was 16. You're no different than everybody else and everything else. So, yeah, if I was rich, I wouldn't be doing this shit. I wouldn't mess with these idiots because I'd be rich, living lifestyles of rich and famous, wouldn't I? But it's not the case, so I do this shit. So I can achieve lifestyles rich and famous, $1 billion a week paycheck. My degrees have given me the right to demand that much money. I've earned that right. Now, my stock market forecast this week, I was just looking at from my website. Yeah, Fed statements Friday since market up a lot. 1,000 points, 800 at the end, S&P 500. Weekly charts are still high, pointing lower. Daily charts popped up Friday a lot, and probably momentum probably carry them higher, although the futures market right now is slightly negative. And looking at the charts, the daily charts, momentum can carry them back higher into high territory. Weekly charts are mostly in high territory. Puts and calls, calls are a little more expensive than puts for the S&P and most of the indexes, so that forecasts higher prices. Semiconductors were less robust last week than the S&P. Yeah. Now, they've been market leaders most of the time, and the market's going up especially. And this week, NVIDIA, the big the big dog in semiconductors, had earning reports Wednesday. Now, the options market is showing semiconductors and SMH calls are a little bit more expensive than puts for a week, next week after. But NVIDIA puts are slightly more expensive than calls this Friday and next week. So the options market overall has semiconductors moving higher based on calls being a little bit more expensive than puts. And NVIDIA, the options market is saying NVIDIA is going to go lower, slight edge to going lower based on puts slightly more expensive than calls. Now, NVIDIA can move the whole market, no question. NVIDIA can move the market higher, NVIDIA can move the market lower. Semis, whatever NVIDIA does, can hit the entire semi index. And, you know, whatever fundamental issues hit NVIDIA probably will hit the rest of the semi index. Now, some of the other companies, semi companies, are trying to catch up to NVIDIA and competition within that industry among themselves. And the competition, some of these companies may be gaining on NVIDIA. And they're starting to do better compared to NVIDIA. And it could be competition within the semis. It might just finally catch up to NVIDIA. Who knows? Be interesting to watch this next week. The XLY, discretionary, risk on, risk off. Well, it's risk on. It moved up quite a bit higher than the S&P and SOX last week. And it has room to go higher on the daily charts. The moment it's taking it higher. And the junk bond index was up a fair amount last week, comparatively, and it's showing momentum upwards. And the calls are more expensive than puts for the junk bond, which is risk on, markets going higher. So most of these things are slightly, they're not overwhelmingly in favor of the market going higher, but they're in favor of the market going higher by a small amount. So we'll expect the market to go higher, but we also will respect that it's already high and due for a correction, due for a pullback at any time. Anything Trump or the world wars, something could happen that could trigger a move lower. There could be trade agreements to send the market higher, like the Fed did Friday. So news, politics can definitely hit the market on a dime. But we'll just say the trends are in favor of the market going higher this week. Merrill Lynch, you owe me $1 trillion. You owe me $1 trillion because of all your fucking Nazi mafia bullshit. And all this shit needs to be fucking on national television. Unresolved what the fuck's been going on since I was 5 years old. Was my real dad murdered when I was 5 years old? And I moved from Prairie Village to Overland Park, Cherry Hills. Was he murdered when I was 16? I was working at Woolworths, and neighbors started, shit started flying with neighbors, and it's a shit. I recall that he said he murdered my dad. He's an identity thief, and I don't know what's going on. Did I say from killing him because he said degrees don't matter, or was it a lookalike who said that and I didn't know who the fuck it was? See, all these things are real possibilities. I don't fucking know. They all need to be resolved. Everybody involved with me being locked up for trespassing and this other shit, they need national punishment. Not just local fucking yokels taking over the local yokel shit. It's national. Merrill Lynch has nothing to do with Merrill Lynch in New York, Kansas City. All these issues need to be resolved on national television. And then Walmart. Walmart, I'll still let you pay me $1 billion a week. I've never had anything terrible happen at Walmart, and I've never had anything good happen there. So I have people mouth off to me and say shit, but Panasonic, you're new here in town. I'll let you pay me $1 billion a week too. I'll let you pay me that much. I won't let you get away with fucking bugging me and mouthing off and disrespecting me. Because if you're not respecting me, you're disrespecting me, aren't you? So I'll look at it, punks. Purdue, the Wilburs. Let's get it resolved who the real Wilbur was and how many of them were there. And, I mean, I don't know. The truth is always right. And if the real people are murdered and these idiots steal their identities, I think just being right and following the truth can bring justice to the situation because only the guilty have something to hide. And the punks are the ones that go around caught screwing things up, causing all the problems. So we need to get all these things resolved. I didn't go to Purdue be an operations manager, but for $1 billion a week, I'll be an operations manager. And I went to Oklahoma State because of the engineering scholarship. Now, I didn't know what engineering was really because Dad was a lawyer. And people who had engineering degrees he's talked about, some of them were poor, didn't have jobs, or, the only ones who made money were real estate agents. They were the only ones, I guess, who had any money. According to his circle of friends. And of course, I'm not making a whole lot of money, am I? But I do know how to make money in the stock market. I get my day trading going full time, full strength. I'll make millions real quick. I know that. Well, I know based on this now, I could encounter new issues. I could encounter, every day is a new issue. As I evolved since I was 16, everything, every day, every time there's a new issue evolves, and you just move on to a new issue, a new problem. So based on everything right now, and I can make 300% a day trading, yeah, I'll make millions. Will I encounter a new issue that I haven't encountered yet? Maybe. I encountered these day trading rules that I didn't, know about when I knew I could trade and outperform the S&P 500 and make. I knew I could do it. I knew it could be done. I didn't know about these day trading rules shit. So I started really getting into it. I knew it could be done, so I knew it was bullshit. The efficient market theory was bullshit. So if I did have unlimited day trading, I might encounter new issues that I have no idea about right now. It's possible. It's all possible, isn't it? As I evolve through life, all this shit, and then I encounter new issues, new shit. And it never ends, does it? I was just thinking last night when I was at the serve and I saw us. I was kind of looking around if there was anybody I knew there, and I knew some. I mean, some people I recognize. Don't really know them. This guy sitting there with a broken arm or something on his arms. He was like gray-haired guy, gray-haired woman. So I said, "Did she do that to you?" He goes, "I did it to myself." I was like, 3 guys and a female sitting there. I was just joking around, I was saying, did she do that to you? And she got up and grabbed my shirt. I started saying, "Ugh." I started laughing. I started laughing. I was just mess around. Get out of the house, mess around a little bit, joke with people. Heck, I told the guy, "Man, you gonna play some Doobie Brothers?" He goes, "Yeah, we're gonna play them next." Well, they didn't play the Doobie Brothers next, but they played them the second next. So I emptied my water cup, put a dollar bill in it, wadded it up, because I couldn't find a tip jar on the stage for them. I don't think they had a tip jar, so I made an impromptu tip jar for them and gave them $1. Oh yeah, and then one guy came out with a girl. I guess I've seen. I guess I've seen the girl around before. Anyway, and they're like, shaking hands, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm in the band, just out talking to people. Thanks for coming out." And I was like, "Oh." I said, "You guys married or something?" She goes, "Well, we live together or something. I don't know." So they were kind of being friendly and joking around. So I just, here's a little tip jar. Here's the first buck. Get the party started for the band. Give them a tip. Yeah, I asked him, is this like a full time job for you guys? You do it full time, or just kind of like do it part time, or for fun, or what? They said, "Oh, it's not a full time. Everybody else has jobs. We just kind of do it for fun. We do it for money. They do it for money, I guess, but it's they just do it because they like music and like playing. It's not like a full time job for them. Get money." I never know about some of these guys in these bands. Is it like their full time job for money, or just for fun, just weekend money, or what? I don't know. And there's some guy, I guess, who I guess I've seen that band at Barley's. They're having a benefit for a guy who was diagnosed with brain cancer here. I guess he was on the news. He didn't feel good, and they told him to go get checked out, and he had brain cancer. Pretty terrible. I've seen those guys around there playing rock and roll music. Yeah. Terrible news, huh? But I hope the guy gets cured something. Don't know him personally, but they're mostly up there playing good music. So I respect that, appreciate it, and go there and party and spend some money sometimes, and tip them sometimes if I got any cash on me. Oh, am I doing this shit for fun? Well, the ultimate objective is for me to get my $1 billion a week, and respect for all the disrespect that I've experienced. I want to talk about Woolworths. Let's just talk about you're no different than everybody else. All the shit that happened, including murder gossip. You want to talk about me in Video Corner being a big crybaby? Well, that was between me and mom and dad, really, and I was motivated, brainwashed my entire life, and expected everything from dad. Being the top lawyer in the United States with his Ivy League, and it just turned into fucking complete lies, bullshit, gossip, shit that I lost my shit. I couldn't believe it, and I still can't believe it. And I do believe he really was a murderer identity thief because he was a lunatic idiot. That was real fucking money. And he's just a goddamn lunatic idiot. Just some gullible jack off who listens to other people's gossip. I don't know. I mean, I've heard so much gossip about him growing up. I know what I experienced inside the house. And something ain't right. My face kind of moves. I saw something on one of these videos where they slap each other in the face. They line up. And this guy got slapped, and it's like the side of his face it knocked the side of his face higher, like his eye. It moved it up higher than his other eye. I mean, like dislocated half his face. I don't know how much money those guys get paid to do that shit. And girls, I mean, no, thank you. Hedge fund money, of course, no question. It's a given. Minimum wage for me, that hedge fund money, punks.